Okay. This next one's going to be a bit confusing. Uh, yeah, so if you're not up to it, you can stop now. This video is going to talk about a topic from Metadimensional, my book. Now, I don't know if you've heard about Donald Hoffman. He's a scholar of consciousness. He often makes the argument that a proper theory of consciousness should be able to explain why the taste of chocolate, uh, why chocolate tastes like why chocolate cake tastes like chocolate cake. Uh, when he's making this argument, this expectation, or implicitly, it sounds like he's talking about physicalism. He wants to find like an explanation that would reveal uh, why some kind of a process that is not the taste of chocolate would produce the taste of chocolate, which is kind of like similar to physicalism. But you can also make the argument that he's not necessarily talking about anything physical. But I think that even if he's not talking about anything physical, and even if physicalism is a problem, I think it is making a mistake in understanding the expectation, that what is the proper expectation. Look, you can find a reason why something creates something, but once you talk about experience, once you talk about things that exist, not description of, are not theories, they just exist, like the taste of chocolate, then you will not be able to find an argument that would make them exist. They just exist. They exist with or without the argument, and I'm not talking about, like, yes, there is something that would trigger the taste of chocolate, and that thing has a reason why it would trigger, and that taste and the ability to taste it depends on the taste buds and all that, or a neuron firing, or all that. But still, the actual feeling of chocolate, you're not gonna find something that produces like the identity of the feeling. That differentiated, say, for the taste of mint or the taste of lemons. You can find the reason why this triggers that, but you won't find the reason why the sensation itself is as it is, because it just is. Now, for many, that's not a satisfactory answer. They expect that reality would be, at its core, completely rational, completely explainable, and any inability to explain is necessarily exposing a deficit in the theory that explains it, that tries to explain. But that is, I think, is completely wrong. Like, I think it's obviously wrong. There are things in any description of reality that would not be explainable, and not because of lack of knowledge, but because explanations and rationality are incapable of giving that. Like, you can start from you can take like Gödel's incompleteness theorems if you want, and say that if you have a complete description of everything, explanation of everything in reality, every single thing, and then insofar it is a rational explanation, and if it's not rational, then that solves it. But if it is rational, then according to Gödel's incompleteness theorem, there would be things that would be true in reality, although there wouldn't be explanation for them with the theory that you found. So they exist even though there's no explanation for them. So there you go, like the existence of something that is unexplainable. But you don't have to go that far. You can understand that you're gonna have like an axiom somewhere gonna have something that you presuppose, and that's it. And you were not gonna prove it, and it emerges out of thin air. And emerging out of thin air means that there's no explanation for it. Specifically, like take for example rationality itself or consistency. That the idea of it being preserved. You think that's like obvious, like of course. How else? Well, if you track your experience as it travels between realms, as you, let's say, fall asleep, you can feel how rationality simply breaks apart and stops functioning. I talked about it in a different video. So it's not always there, and it's not necessarily exists like with even without justification. Like it can exist without justification, but it cannot. It is not evident by anything that is plausible. Because here you go, falling asleep, see it disappear. But so what I'm going at with this is that you have, if you're serious about explaining existence, not just theories, not just descriptions, but explaining existence, you have to be comfortable with the idea that something in reality, in the substrate of reality, in the metaphysics, is inconsistent. It's both is and isn't, is unexplainable. And in this theory, I specifically carved a specific role for metaphysical inconsistency. Specifically, it is the thing that makes it possible for there to be experiential movements when experience is fundamental. Like you have to, if experience is independent, its existence is independent, then how come other things that exist can affect it other than itself? How can it, if it is a fundamental, if it is also like a single element, then how come it has like structure, like, or not structure, it has configurations. This is all, or the role of metaphysical inconsistency in the theory. Now, that sounds to most people, that would sound like, hey, your theory is complete bullshit. You just said that you have inconsistency in your theory. But I would say that at least I'm responsible about the fact that I'm admitting that inconsistency exists, and I put it in a proper space and explaining what it affects and what it doesn't. All other accounts of reality, and I'm talking about all that I'm aware of, don't do that. And I mean, there might be religions that do that, but no serious account that is grappling with physics or with exact sciences or with science does that. This theory does do it, and I think any serious attempt to explain reality has to grapple with this, has to find a place where it says this cannot be explained further because it is not it is negating the notion of explanation by its very nature. Donald Hoffman seemingly when he makes that question about why does chocolate cake taste like chocolate cake, either he's trying to entrap the person he's talking to into believing in something that he knows is impossible, or has not grappled with the notion of metaphysical inconsistency. I don't know.